To the latest on the crisis in Ukraine, the attacks on civilian targets are escalating as Russian forces try to push into the heart of Kyiv, but are still being met with resistance. This as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calls for more sanctions against Russia by Italy, and as President Biden prepares to travel overseas to meet with NATO leaders. ABC News foreign correspondent James Longman joins us now live on the ground in Lviv. And James, thank you for joining us. Well, look, we are nearly a month into this war now. 27 days, and the resolve of the Ukrainian soldiers and the people is just remarkable. We do know that they retook part of Kyiv overnight. They've stood their ground much longer than anyone expected. Is there a feeling now that they can withstand the push from Russian troops? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Sade, I think the overwhelming sense you get from people here is anger. That's the emotion you feel in them. I mean, they're furious, as you can well understand. I mean, I'm sure you would be, I know I would be, but what they're able to do is channel that fury into fighting back. And it is quite extraordinary to see. We had John Kirby at the Pentagon today saying that actually Ukrainians have used the stalled invasion. This invasion really has stalled on Russia's part to their advantage and are now retaking territory. It's quite an extraordinary thing to think about. If you think Russia's supposed to have the second most powerful military on earth, they're also heartened by the amount of foreign help that's come into this country, both the military help but also the humanitarian help. We're seeing it here in Lviv. But I do think it's important not to be under any illusion that this is over somehow. I mean, we've had President Biden speaking about the possibility that Russia could use chemical weapons. That is a very real and terrifying possibility here. They've already been laying the groundwork for that with the false claims that somehow the US and Ukraine are preparing chemical weapons here. So that remains a terrifying possibility. And as long as Vladimir Putin doesn't have any way to save face and extricate himself from this war, then I think we're into possibly a very long and bloody stalemate.
Yeah, and with this long and bloody stalemate, you know, tell me, besides the soldiers, besides the men who have stayed behind to try to fight, you know, including there are some women who have stayed behind to try to fight too, making Molotov cocktails, doing whatever they can. But what is the, you know, what is the morale of people there on the ground?
Well, I met today Natalia, a woman who had just left Mariupol. It was quite an extraordinary meeting. I mean, this woman, the determination in her face when you speak to her, it's quite a thing to witness. She managed to get out of Mariupol after something like 20 days, more than 20 days under siege in that city. We know something like 300,000 people at least are still stuck there. She got out not only on her own, but she got her parents out, 83 and 85 years of age, and their 4 cats, and you can only imagine the journey that they've had to undertake to get all the way over here to Lviv. But she spoke to us basically about being entirely cut off from the outside world for more than 20 days. I mean, there was a sense really that they had no idea how the war was even going, the possibility that even Russia had managed to invade the whole country, occupying the entire country. They had no food, no heating, no electricity. She had to go down into the street to cook, to find things to burn, to cook on. That was the kind of the sort of scavenging existence that they were living in. Her elderly parents actually couldn't go down into the basement to shelter from the bombs because they kind of can't move that much, and so they were just waiting in their apartment, hearing the bombs getting closer and closer. And really, Sade, it was a story of people kind of doing it for themselves. She spoke about the local authorities kind of evacuating as soon as possible and leaving many tens of thousands of people behind to do what they could. And she said that, you know, they were just surrounded by dead bodies in the streets, just having to band together, those who'd survived having to band together to find a way out. And eventually her and a neighbour managed to cobble together 2 cars. She got her family in one, the other family in the other, and they drove as fast as they could out of Mariupol. She described the faces of the people that saw them on the outskirts of town, looking at them in horror, thinking that they had risen from the dead because they thought everyone in Mariupol had been killed.
Unbelievable. Such courage it's taking for so many of these people just to try to get out, just to survive. James Longman reporting live in Lviv. Excellent reporting. Stay safe for you and your crew. And of course, we're going to hear from you more later this week. So thank you again. And you're going to hear much more from James and all of the latest on the war coming up on World News Tonight with David Muir at 6:30. Bill?